Alright, hi guys, I'm Will. So I'm going to do a little brief tour of Blend4Web. This is going to be sort of an overview and a tour of how it works and what it can do. Alright, what you see here is a NASA website where they are using Blend4Web to depict their Curiosity rover on Mars. I encourage you to go visit this site and have a look at this. It gives you the opportunity to play with the rover and explore it and look at all its pieces and parts. I'm just going to swing around here, and it lets you move some of the arms, and I think it really demonstrates the ability of an interactive 3D web application. So go ahead and check that out. And another one I wanted to show you is something that just came out. The Blend4Web team just finished this project. It is a demonstration of an industrial manufacturing process. This is a dairy plant, and I'll put a link to this in the description as well. So I had a lot of fun playing with this application. It has several ways to navigate it. You can sort of just go frame by frame like a presentation, or you can just sort of take control and move around yourself. It allows you to sort of pan around, and I can hit this little button down here to change my view. Let's see, what does that do? Oh, cool. Interesting. Yeah, so go check this out, and I just wanted to show you what it's capable of before I get into how they got to this point. So I'm going to reduce that, and here I am in Blender where this all started from. This is where this content was authored, and Blend4Web enables you to export into a HTML format. So if you haven't already, you'll need to get the software development kit installed. I have a video for that uploaded. I will put a link to that in the description. If you're familiar with Blender, one of the first changes you'll notice is there is a new tab under the render settings, and that is Blend4Web. And that brings up some new options that weren't there before that apply specifically to HTML web applications. It has an additional export option. If we go to export, we'll go to the export settings, and it gives you the option of exporting a HTML self-contained document. It also has the option of exporting a JSON file, which now exporting the JSON probably is going to require a video by itself, but basically it's for creating more intricate web applications that are controlled by external JavaScript files. It's not horribly complicated, but beyond the scope of this video in any case. And once you have the render setting to Blend4Web, if you come to the export tab or the export panel, you have the option of opening the server that runs automatically. So when you have this installed, every time you open Blender, it actually spins up a server. The reason being, some files require a server to be running in order to play. For example, if you had a web application that had external JavaScript files, the security settings in your browser would not allow you to access those scripts unless they came from the same server that the HTML file was opened from. So for that reason, it spins up a server on localhost 6687. If we take a look what you're actually looking at, if I go to my C drive and I open my Blend4Web file, this index file right here is the same one I'm looking at. If I try to view some of these from my browser directly, they won't play. Let me find one that I know has. Yeah, okay, so if I look at this, and so that's not going to load because I'm not running it from a server. So if I come to where I'm running this from the server and I go to that game demo and open it up, there we go. And I'm playing. This is a great little demo too. It's kind of hard. Wait a minute, let me kill this guy. Okay, alright. he's dead. Of course he's dead. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now, you can adjust the settings of that server if you go to File, User Preferences, and then I already have it pulled up here, but what you would do is go to your Add-ons tab, and then come to hit the Import Export, and we're going to look for the Blend4Web and spin that down, and you have your server port right here, and you could adjust that if necessary. So this is the Software Development Kit folder, and I want to explore some of the goodies in here. The way we will do it is we will go ahead and open this index file, but we'll do it through the server. So rather than having it come from your local drive, what we'll do is go ahead and open it on localhost 6687. And that will be running a server with your Blend4Web folder as its root. So the index.html is going to be the first one to be opened. Now, many of these files can be read directly from your browser. Like, for example, if I went to deploy tutorials cat. Now, this is a self-contained HTML file. It does not need to run from a server, so I can just open that directly in my browser, and we can look and see our cat animation. So that's actually not on your list in the SDK index file, so I wanted to show that to you. It's pretty cool. If you take a look at the Blender file for that is included with the SDK, you can see the entire animation. Whoops, what did I do? You can see the entire animation. It's all rigged up to a skeleton, and they've got the I'm going to pull up the UV map editor and see cat. And so there's the texture for that. There's the material for that. That's pretty awesome. So we're going to close that, not going to save. And that doesn't require a server to run. However, some of these others do, so I'm going to come back to the server. And so let's take a look at the island. This is one of the more advanced demos. And in this particular demo, it is not really user interactive. It's more of a show. You're following the airplane as it traverses the island. And I think I can click the little camera icon there, and it can give me some different views. Now, the scene viewer is used to preview your render and tweak some of the settings. So, for example, you could adjust the wind, and then once you made the adjustments that you wanted, you could go ahead and make those adjustments in your Blender file without needing to constantly re-export it and try again and re-export it and try again. You can just view it in this viewer and tweak some of those Blend4Web settings and get them how you want them, and then go ahead and put those settings back into your source file. And so that's the purpose of that. And as we look through some of these, there are some great demonstrations of the abilities of Blend4Web. The sunglasses. We'll take a look at that. That kind of allows me to look around. If you look at the reflections and the detail on that, really awesome. Really nice. I like it. And cloth simulation. So it's got a little bit of a fluttering sound to it there. So that's got sound and vertex animation. And this is also a self-contained HTML document. It doesn't require any external files. And to give you an idea of what the difference is, if I go to examples, for example, let's go to one of these making a game files. So if I open this, you can see that it's not a whole lot here. it just references these other files. We have the b4wmin.js. That is the Blend4Web framework. That is their engine. Anyway, that's kind of what it looks like. And there are a number of other external files that this app depends on. And so this is an example of how a JSON export would work. You would export your JSON file. You would go ahead and put the JSON in the same directory as your HTML file, and also you would pull in your other dependencies like the main engine. And that's really going to take a video on its own, I think, in order to explain that. So here I'm just giving you an idea, but I don't think you could really call that an instructional tutorial there. I think I'm going to have to go into more detail and do a video just on that. So we'll go, I wanted to show you that grass. Let's go to tutorials, grass. This is pretty cool. So this is also a self-contained HTML document. We don't need to look at it in a server. And here we have the grass being affected by a wind bending effect, which is pretty awesome. And let's see, is there anything else that's really cool? Well, there's lots of cool stuff here, but gotta show you the ray test. Here we go. Now the ray test kind of gives you this little, it makes your mouse this little shooter, you know, and once you start shooting, you gotta see if you can, how many times you can get them in the head. Okay. What this does is it gives you an example to see an effect and then go ahead and view the code for it. So this is the HTML file. All it does is calls up the Blend4Web engine, and then it calls up this ray test JavaScript, which you write, and it gives you that right here. And so this is the JavaScript that runs that file. It was authored in Blender, and then this JavaScript was written to govern this file, and all these files were placed in the same directory as the HTML file. And that gives you the option of looking at these different demos and then looking at the code. Now this is a gyro app. This is for mobile devices, so on my desktop it's not going to do much, but I would assume that what happens is on a mobile device, when you tipped this, the accelerometer would be input into the program, and you could probably view the code and figure that out pretty easy. So there's the HTML for it. Once again, very simple, and it just loads this JavaScript. Of course, it has the Blend4Web engine right there, and then here is the gyro JavaScript file, which is right here, and canvas texture. And so here's an example of a video texture, a animated GIF texture. And if you're familiar with Blender at all, you probably know this scene right here from a movie made completely with Blender, and just a normal picture file. So let's look at camera animation. And in this example, it's sort of a clicky, you click and the camera smoothly scrolls to the clicked on fruit. Camera move style. So anyway, you could probably go ahead and explore this yourself, just so you know how to get to it. You're going to, how did I get to it? We're going to go to the index file, and I think all these tutorials, do all these tutorials go there? I think the code snippet, yeah, the code snippets. So you scroll down to the code snippets, and these are the ones that you will find in that viewer that shows you the code examples. And so that's like, you know, near the bottom of that index file. And here's some other examples. These would be the kind of thing like a greeting card sent through email or something like that. And this is a one that would be for a Russian holiday. As you may know, the Blend4Web team is out of Moscow, and so they are a brilliant bunch of Russians that came up with this. Okay, any other really awesome things I should show you? I probably should show you first person. So this kind of gets into some of the first person gaming potential that this has. It's going to go ahead and take over my mouse and give me kind of a full screen view. I have mouse scroll left or right. And if you want to see a cool example of collisions, check out that. Bang, I can kick the bucket. You know, I don't know if the guys in Russia have this idiom, but here in America, kicking the bucket has a special meaning that I'm not sure they appreciated when they made this little demo called Kick the Bucket Game. For those watching this in Russia who might not understand why it would be funny to kick the bucket in America, kick the bucket means to die. You might say if someone kicked the bucket, it means they died. So kicking the bucket is kind of funny. Anyway, this is a cool demo. It shows you some of the features that are available with Blend4Web. Here's an example of God rays, which is one of my personal favorites. I think God rays are awesome. And I'm going to look around here. No bad guys to kill, it looks like. But just a pretty good demo. We've got our trees blowing in the wind, and grass kind of moves. Our colliders. Oh, I can jump. Oh, I can jump pretty far. I wonder if I can kick that bucket up the stairs. Bang! Bang! I guess not. Yeah. Got it roll though. That's awesome. Now this, if this were a desktop application, this would be like ho-hum, you know, what's the big deal? But this is a website. This is a website that just loads with no plugin required. So how awesome is that? All right, well that kind of gives you an overview of, I'm going to hit my escape button to get out of that. That gives you an overview of what to expect with Blend4Web, how to make it work. It should give you enough information to know if you want to jump into this and get more educated on it. That wasn't really enough to cover the specifics of it. If you're new to Blender, Blender in itself is a daunting task to get functional in it. There's a lot to learn with Blender, but the good news is with Blender is that there is a ton of documentation. If you go to YouTube and type in any question on Blender, you're going to find a lot of answers. It's been around for a long time. One thing you might do when you type in a question on YouTube is adjust the search settings so it's this year, because Blender has been around for a while and you will come up with some older versions that no longer apply. So hopefully that gives you a good example. If you haven't got it installed yet, look at my install video and look for some more videos in the future. I want to do some more specific videos that are short and to the point that show you how to do one step at a time to getting this out. And one thing I should show you is one thing I did on my own. I was doing some messing around in Blender and I came up with this. I should show you the blend file for it. So all I did is basically, you know, put some words on the screen, and I made a animation. I've got one light kind of whizzing around there, and went ahead and did my animation. And one thing you need to do is go ahead and click on the animation tab, apply default animation. If you don't do that, it won't animate. So gotta apply that. And that is a Blend4Web specific difference that might not be the same. Well, that wouldn't be the same in a normal Blender. So yeah, that's an example of what I was able to accomplish with a little bit of time. And that's not too fantastic, but I kind of liked it. Okay, so I will put useful links in the description and look for future videos.